What's up, Nano Reef crew? Today we're talking about some upgrades that I'm making to my aquariums and the best Red Sea product they don't sell. We've also got an Eshop's Deskmate filter cup printing on the Prusa MK4S. All the custom trim with the NASA font. Pretty awesome printer. This is definitely my favorite 3D printer. Just looks-wise, it just looks just awesome. Just love this. So as many of you know, I'm using Red Sea Blue Bucket salt. I love this salt because it mixes at a good balance of having DKH that you need and the nutrients that you need in your water without being overbearing for your reef tank. And then it allows you to dose on top of this and control exactly what you want in your reef tank. So you can see down here, it'll mix at an 8 DKH with 1300 magnesium, all that good stuff. And you can go ahead and dose all for reef on top of that if you want to increase those values and raise them to like 500 calcium or 480 or DKH at 9 or 10 or something like that, which is what I do. And that has produced great results with my corals. But there's one big problem with this salt bucket, and it's a product that Red Sea, I think, would really benefit from, and as far as I can tell, they don't sell it. And that product is a salt cup. So this is a Red Sea salt cup that I 3D printed. You can see here that this will make 19 liters or 5 gallons of salt water at exactly 35 ppt, so parts per million. And using this, I can set this on my scale, go ahead and turn my scale on. Well, turn it on without it on there. Let it get zeroed out. Pop that on. Go ahead, zero that out again, and then I can fill this up with salt. So if I fill this up with salt, it'll measure out exactly 725 grams of salt, which is exactly the amount of salt you need to make 5 gallons at 35 part per million. So I don't know why Red Sea doesn't sell a product like this. I mean, this is super easy to 3D print. Took a little bit of trial and error to figure out the dimensions needed for this, but why doesn't Red Sea just make this product or include it with your salt buckets? I'm not sure, but this is absolutely going to change my life and make my reef tank a lot more stable and a lot more consistent. And in my past videos, I talked about how I was using measuring cups, and measuring cups work great, but I want this to be an exact science of fill up this cup, dump it in a bucket, and call it a day. Now I need to go make some salt. Time to put this Red Sea salt cup to the test. Time to give this a couple hours to make some water. This float valve here will stop the water once it fills up. So we will come back and check it in a couple hours and see how we're doing. Now the other changes I want to make are actually to this Nuvo APS aquarium stand. This is a full aluminum stand, and the only problem I have with this is there's no lighting on the inside of the stand, so at night when I reach in here, it's a little bit hard to kind of see and figure out where things are and see what I'm doing. So that is where these come in. These are Cobb LED strips. Now these LED strips are, I believe, 5mm across. Yeah, 5mm like left to right, and then they're pretty long. So we've got like, let's see, 2 meters in here, so 6 feet. So I will take this and put this around the inside of the stand. The idea behind this is that on the inside of this stand there's aluminum extrusion, which means there's a slot for these LEDs to go into, and I'm hoping that I can just slot them in there and then plug this into a USB, and you'll see that my power strip down here actually has plugs on it that have switches. So you guys can see that inside the stand it's pretty darn dark. If I brighten the camera up, you can see in there a lot better. This right here, this is a power strip that has switches on it. So you can see I can turn them on and turn them off. So for this, I'm just going to be using your standard Apple plug here, what came with everybody's iPhone back in the day. We're going to go ahead and plug this in here as we knock everything over because we can't see what we're doing. And now, if I turn this on, this should activate the LEDs. Oh yeah, that's way better. So up here, this is the top of the stand. There are those channels I'm talking about. So in those channels, looks like they're about 10mm wide, and I'll be able to get these LEDs in there. Yeah, it like completely hides the light up there. So that's not what we want. Sticking it in that strip may not work out like I was hoping then. I chose to use the adhesive on the back of the LED strip instead. Now I've just got a piece of duct tape that I need to apply over here to keep this wire up there, because the wire does want to kind of run around on me a little bit, and I don't want the wire to get pinched into the door of the aquarium stand. Now when we go ahead, we open up our stand, we go down here, flick the switch, and we have nice and easy lighting for our top shelf here and can see everything that we need to access. My bottom shelf is more for long-term storage, so I do keep stuff in the bottom shelf. Like down here, I have my coral feeding cage, so when I feed my corals, I can put that on top of them and the fish can't steal the food away. It's 3D printed. File is on Thingiverse, I believe. And then I do have backups down there, so I have backup random flow generator nozzles, backup drop-in adapters, backup pumps. I have some stress guards, some coral revive, some spare frag racks, razor blades, all that kind of stuff that you would keep that you may need again in the future is all down below. But my top shelf is everything I use every day, like my Ultra Reef, my Prime, my food, all that good stuff. So, alrighty, time to mix some salt. Using the Red Sea Salt Cup I 3D printed, I have found that when I pack the salt here, I can get anywhere from 1.023 to 1.30 salinity. So I have found that if I pack it really tight, I get slightly too high of salinity, and if I pack it a little too low, then I get slightly too low of salinity, but it gets me a lot closer than guessing was, how many cups of salt do I need. So I'm hoping that I can kind of fine tune my ability to fill that and pack it properly and produce more reliable results over time. So the Red Sea Cup did mix the salt almost at 1.025. It does measure the salt at 725 grams. This time I didn't measure it to see how much I had in there. I should have. The only reason I didn't do that is I wanted to test it in practicality. So it mixed at 1.023, and I think the reason being is when I did it on the scale, I packed it more, where when I poured it in earlier, I literally just poured the salt in. So I think I need to pour the salt in, pack it down just a little bit, and pour a little bit more in to get that 725 grams. But still, I got it to 1.023, and I put in 2 more tablespoons of sea salt, and now I'm at 1.025, 1.026. So this is perfect for me, and I'm gonna go ahead and do some water changes. We also have our 3D printed filter cup done here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop this off for the Eshops tank. Alright, our 3D printed filter cup is done. This file is available on Thingiverse. It also has a little grate that goes in there, and there's some stoppers in there halfway. Alright, went ahead and put the grate in there. You can see that half of the cup is divided now, so I could have a filter media in the bottom and a filter media in the top, and then be 2 different filter medias. I'm gonna go ahead and get this in the Eshops Deskmate, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Like a glove.